Please welcome the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Corporate Communications at Riyadh Air, Osamah Alnuaiser, in conversation with Skift President Carolyn Kremins.
Hi, everyone. I just asked Osamah if we are going to offer Riyadh Air first class, suite, cabin, because they're that kind of crowd.
Definitely can't wait to welcome people, to offer them a ticket as well to Saudi and explore the wonders of Saudi and Riyadh generally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's start with how many people here know anyone? I'm not even going to ask if you have, because I've never met anyone who is launching a major airline. I think the last major launch was probably around 25 years ago or so. And not only that, Riyadh Air has very ambitious goals. They are looking to have 100 planes in their fleet and travel to over 100 international destinations by 2030. So I'm not sure if you looked at the calendar, but it is 2025, and we only have a few more months left. What makes it even more ambitious is that you don't have any planes yet. So that's the question. What's the timeline for when Riyadh Air is going to take off?
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in New York and part of this wonderful, amazing crowd as well. Riyadh Air is the next challenge that sits within the aviation industry. You don't see that coming, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The last, we chatted about that, Carolyn, is the last airline that was launched was 25, 30 years ago, and it was a full-service carrier as well, and we intend to be in that domain as well. It's a challenging cycle for us to launch an airline at this time, but definitely it's more exciting to be within this industry. Having been in this industry as well, it's so amazing to engage with connecting countries, connecting cultures, and connecting people. Definitely we're looking to fulfilling our promise. It's an airline that has been in the making for almost 3 years. Yeah. And it's now where the time that we're committing to our promise to flying by 2025. We signed a deal at the beginning of 2023 of 72 aircrafts with our partners, Boeing. And that was the signal of our first asset, which is, the set of a fleet. Engaged on several announcements afterwards in terms of what an expansion of a fleet looks like. Today, it's 182 aircrafts that are on order. Wow. It's a huge ambition from an airline that is coming and originating from Riyadh, from Saudi, and making sure that a connection to take place. We're looking at 5 years from now to 2030 as well to connect to more than 100 cities around the globe. This probably, and you've heard as well from our leadership, this took other airlines in the region, especially in the Middle East, more than 20 years to just reach to that level of destinations. So it's a huge ambition. Our colleagues that are in Riyadh Air, who are today at the set of 500 plus employees, are more excited to just launch the airline. Yeah. I remember 3 years ago, we were less than 10 people in an office. And it couldn't be an exciting moment for us to just launch an airline from scratch and go through all of these details in terms of planning, business model, and launching an airline later this year. So it's a challenge. It's a unique opportunity, however, to ensure that there is a proposition that we fill that kind of domain within the aviation industry.
Yeah, definitely. So the good news is that you're building an airline from scratch. And the bad news is that you have to build an airline from the ground up, from scratch. So when you think about, you have this clean slate, like a whiteboard, if you will, and you think about how to design an airline for the future, right? What are the pros and cons of that?
Well, it's something that we always like to take pride in, is we are starting where others have ended.
Right.
And we're filling the gap in a way that what we see sometimes is pain points or what exists within a proposition as an airline. Today, there's high expectations from us as travelers. that we seek to an ambition as well, or a set of expectations from tourism providers, aviation, hotels, transportation, and so on and so forth. So it's more of a unique proposition that we want to ensure the maximum best guest experience is being offered. And this is a unique as well aspect of what Riyadh Air is being built. One of the 3 pillars that we have is an obsession into attention as well when it comes to a guest experience proposition. So more than 35 touch points with our guests that they will go through from the time that they book their flight until they arrive to their destination. That's more than 35 plus touch points that we want to ensure that we delight them across each touch point.
And they're young. I mean, so like you're basically free from all the legacy systems. I mean, whenever I talk to other airlines, it seems like there's always that like elephant in the room is that these old systems and they're trying to innovate, but you're not bogged down with that, right? But you also have a very young population in Saudi, right? I think the average age is 29 years old of the Saudi national, so, and they love to travel. So like when you think about the future of an airline and the future of passenger experience, like give us some examples of what that might look like.
Yeah, that's a great question, Carolyn. I think I'll add statistics as well within that kind of demographics within Saudi. Digital penetration is very heavy. You have almost 2/3 of the day of the regular individual that they spend 7 hours a day on their mobile devices. Mm-hmm. And that is a very unique as well aspect of how brands engage with their clientele and customers as well. So it's a fundamental aspect that we are building our foundations on a digital native airline as well. So we're building something as a unique proposition of a cart concept as well. And that works definitely in our favor that we're starting from scratch. Take it as an example of the likes of Amazon or other e-commerce platforms as well. It's where you ensure that there's a proposition, there is an engagement as well from the guest, from the traveler as well, and ensure that there's that interaction when it comes to the digital proposition. I want to sell you an experience rather than selling you a flight ticket. And that was our base of thinking in terms of our business model, is how is our digital stack and our proposition to our guests is being built on that cart experience. I can add the flight, I can add something else in terms of a hotel accommodation, enjoy a game match in X amount of cities and so on. So it's more of an experience that is being added into that cart, and you can go back to it and choose to pay with your lifestyle program, which is our loyalty program that we will be announcing very soon. So the digital proposition is how us as a guest or guests interact with this platform. And I believe that's where we will be uniquely designing our interaction with our guests.
Right. So more about the experience, less about the transaction itself. That will come. So you mentioned the loyalty program, and I would imagine it has to be daunting, right? Like to start a loyalty program. We all fly, and we are all very loyal to our programs. And you are starting a loyalty program, which is at the core of any business, right? A successful business has to have a very strong loyalty program. How do you start a loyalty program? And what are you going to do that is unique to your loyalty program?
Great question. I don't like to call it as a loyalty program. And internally, we have a saying internally. We're calling it a lifestyle program. And we do want to make sure that there's, the norm of any loyalty program that exists, which is the rights and benefits, the levels, and the recognition. However, we want to build something unique that also explores the spirit of partnerships. A successful lifestyle program allows you not to only transact with the airline itself, but it goes beyond that. So it builds that community within our partners, but also builds that community within our future guests and prospects. So it's more of a design model that we have built, that the loyalty program needs to ensure that the basics of the rights and benefits, making sure that, Carolyn, you get the platinum tier as well, and the recognition inside the airport and on board the aircraft with the connection with our digital proposition. But also when it comes to the outside of the airline, we want to ensure that there's a vast majority of our partners that are included into this kind of proposition. And again, that is the beauty of the freedom that we want to create within our lifestyle program.
Yeah, okay. Well, we look forward to hearing more about it. One of the narratives in Saudi over the last decade or so has been about getting more women in the workforce. And I have to say, I went and visited Osamah about a year and a half ago. It was my first trip to Riyadh. And I was so surprised. I think the most memorable part of our conversation was hearing about this program that you had that is all about getting women into an aircraft engineering program. Yeah. And would you share a little bit more about that? Yeah.
That's a pride moment as well internally, that we have built something unique, from the ground as well, is enable, the female, interaction and empowerment into the aviation industry. And, it's a support as well from a leadership point of view, is that, engaging the women factor as well and making sure that they are part of and center within the leadership as well of Riyadh Air. The technical engineering piece is a very, challenging environment as well when it comes to that kind of domain, and ensuring that there's opportunities being created as well. That is what Riyadh Air has sought, is, we interacted with the College of Excellence, which is, a vocational training college as well, that helped empower 3,000 applicants of women have applied. 25 of them have joined the program. And within the next year as well, we will see them coming online as part of the task force of Riyadh Air to make sure that there's, a safe engineering cycle that happens to, our engines and our aircrafts that we will be receiving very soon as well. It's a very unique moment, as I mentioned. I'm here in New York. Tonight I'll be later in Charleston as well. We're working with our partners as well, Boeing, that we see our first aircraft rolling out as well very soon. Again, couldn't be more happy to see this proud moment come to life after 3 years of the making as well in this airline.
Yeah. Well, he actually showed me pictures. So I did see the aircraft, and it was being painted, actually, in the picture. So that's all good. So I'm just very quickly, because just tell me, you're competing with a lot of really great airlines, right, in your region. The Gulf carriers are really a fantastic, best in class, Etihad, Emirates, and Qatar. So are you going to be of that level? Is that where you're looking to go? What will set you apart?
Yeah, great question again. We definitely will be a premium full-service carrier, originating from Riyadh. And, the connectivity, as I mentioned at the beginning, is making sure that Riyadh is connected to more than 100 destinations within, 5 years. That's probably a cycle or trajectory that you will see probably 20 to 25 destinations per year. It's an ambition that we will be fulfilling along with our partners. Guest propositions, as always, are very hard and complex to ensure that they, go to the standards of the consumers. And we have built that kind of, guest proposition from day one. As I mentioned, 3 years in the making, we went through all of these 35 plus touch points to ensure that there's a level of hospitality. Yeah. And, in Saudi, there's a huge, famous saying is that you're our guest when you visit to Saudi as well. It's you are our guest in 3 days. So we'll feed you, we'll ensure that you are in a hospitable environment as well. But, going back, I think we rely on our partners, and we ensure that, we grow bigger and bigger. We've built 10 partners so far, and the proud moment for us is that looking at Delta
Right.
is a unique partner for us as well. An airline that has celebrated 100 years of their anniversary this year, and we introduced that partnership last year as well between us and them, and we're building that kind of network and partnership as well within an ecosystem that helps us get to farther destinations. But again, there's no more greater times than what we live now for, as we seek to, building, more of a brand of Riyadh and Saudi to the world.
Well, we look forward to seeing the planes come to life and to seeing the airline come to life. You must be very proud, and I'm sure you'll celebrate when that time comes. We've run out of time, so we got to scoot off, but thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.